Hey everyone, welcome back to Champion the Passion, a weekly pro wrestling podcast where we inspire you to champion your passions and celebrate the joy in what you love. I'm your host, my name is Victoria Daisy, and today we're going to be recapping everything that happened last night on Friday Night Smackdown. But before we get into it, don't forget to leave a 5-star review if you enjoyed. Follow me at It's Victoria Daisy across all social platforms and follow Champion the Passion across all streaming platforms. But let's get right in because this was a very weird SmackDown. Okay, if you watched it, you know exactly what I mean, and we'll definitely talk about that in a little bit. But let's start with the madness, okay? So the very first thing we see when SmackDown comes on air is Nick Aldis backstage talking to our undisputed WWE champion Cody Rhodes. And Nick Aldis informs Cody Rhodes that he got taken out of the 6-man tag match that was scheduled for later that night. It was supposed to be the main event, and then Cody got taken out of that match. Nick Aldis said it's out of his control. There's nothing he can do because this order came from the final boss, and that The Rock is coming for Cody and wants to see him in the ring later in the night. And I thought we were going to get somewhere with that segment, and we will talk about that very shortly, because even though the show was 3 hours, it felt so short. Like, I don't know. I feel like there wasn't that much content. But let's get into the first match of the night. We had Drew McIntyre versus Jimmy Uso. Now, this was a great match, okay? We had two vets absolutely showing you how it's done, slaying the house down, and putting on a great performance. In the end, though, Jimmy Uso did win. And then, of course, Drew attacked Jimmy directly after the match, and they eventually got separated. We know how this goes. But, wow. It was such a good match. I highly advise you to go watch it if you haven't already, because it was so freaking good. I loved it. Moving on into another match that we had it was a tag team match. We had The Miz and Carmelo Hayes versus R-Truth and LA Knight. And before I forget to the match, R-Truth is such an icon. So he said that, his tag team partner was going to be a mystery. And he said it was a Louisiana legend. So I was like, okay. My original thought was Ricky Saints. That's not going to happen. But, that was just my original thought. Then I thought the Boogeyman, because I believe he's from Louisiana. So I was like, okay, that'd be fun. Like, fun little return. Why not? And then it was LA Knight. And he called him, instead of Los Angeles Night, he said Louisiana Night. And I quite literally peed my pants. It was very funny. But into the match, it was a great match, or I would say it's a good match, but had great storytelling. R-Truth is hysterical and truly made this match, in my opinion. But as far as in-ring ability and in-ring wrestle, I would say LA and Carmelo were definitely the stars of this match for me. In general, I think they're great, but especially in this match. And I think they work really well together, and they both truly just shined. But then Shinsuke Nakamura, outside of the ring, attacked LA Knight, who, let's not forget, is the number one contender for Shinsuke's title. He attacked him outside of the ring and distracted him, which, of course, if you know the way wrestling works, you would have known that Miz and Melo used that distraction to their advantage to win the match, which is exactly what they did. Now, I do kind of like all of this noise that they're making in the mid-card division, if you will. I really enjoy it. I'm loving what's going on with LA and Shin. I hope that that's a match that possibly happens at WrestleMania. It's probably not going to, but I hope so. I hope LA has his big WrestleMania moment and winning back that title. I hope Melo's on that card. But moving on into a match that is set for Mania, we had Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. Now, no, they did not wrestle on the show. The match was actually Tiffany versus Candice, but Tiffany came out to cut a little promo before her match, and she was basically just talking about how she understands Charlotte is or wants to be the top girl, but she's the top girl now, blah, 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 basically just talking crap. And then, Nia and Candice come out, start talking their crap. Literally, Nia did not need to be out there, but she's a queen. We stand her, and I can't complain one bit. So it's fine. But let's get right into the match. So it was a pretty good match, not even a lie. But the first few minutes in, Charlotte Flair came out to watch ringside on commentary. And I wasn't sure if she'd interfere, but she's kind of like a classy vet. Like, she wouldn't do that, but she has in the past. So I'm like, I wasn't really sure. It was kind of unpredictable. But I definitely do have to say Tiffany had a great showcase. She did, I think it was a moonsault, or she did something off the top rope outside the ring and landed really incorrectly. If you guys are on Twitter, then you would have known. But that really could have ended her career right there or got her seriously injured. So I'm really happy she's okay. But, you know, just goes to show you, like, wrestling is scripted, but it's very real in the ring. Like, people put their bodies on the lines week in and week out for our entertainment. And if they land the wrong way, that could be it for them. So obviously we've seen that happen with like Paige, aka Saraya. Like, we've seen stuff like that. So it's just precaution, but very happy she's okay. Then Tiffany Stratton won the match, which was so exciting. But then, of course, the fun didn't last long because Nia Jax attacked Tiffany post-match. And then what would come to happen 4 seconds later, I was not expecting. I should have expected it, but I didn't. And I got so excited because she is one of my all-time favorites. Her tag team partner at the Elimination Chamber 2025 arrived. Trish Stratus came out for the save. And, oh, it was so good to hear her theme, rock and roll. What is it? It's time to rock and roll? Whatever. I love that theme song so much. And I love her so much. And I'm so excited. Also, WWE Shop came out with a new shirt that said Trishy and Tiffy time. And I need it. It's really iconic. And it has like their silhouettes and everything. I love it. It's amazing. But then, you know, the four of them start going at it, whatever. And then Charlotte eventually gets into the ring to be all dramatic and point at the WrestleMania sign. And that was really it. But I do just have to say, I really hope Charlotte doesn't win at WrestleMania. I've stated this many times in many episodes already, but like, I seriously like don't want her to win. She doesn't need to win. And like I said, was it last week's SmackDown podcast episode? I think I said, like, if you guys watch the NFL, if you guys watch football, then you'll understand this reference. But like, a bridge quarterback, she seems like a bridge champion if Charlotte does win. And for those who don't know what that means, it's basically in football, a bridge quarterback is when you're on the hunt for your franchise guy, right? You need to sign somebody for 1 year. It's usually a veteran, right? Which is what we're seeing in this scenario. Sort of, not really, because Tiffany's not a vet. Charlotte's the vet, but you get my point. And they will sign somebody for a year until the person that they really want comes on the market or they're able to draft them, et cetera, et cetera. So like, that's the point of a bridge quarterback, to kind of hold you off until you get the guy you want. And so in this case, using that reference, Tiffany feels like the bridge champion in a way. You know, she won the Money in the Bank briefcase. She cashed in on Nia. And now we're kind of just waiting until WrestleMania to see if Charlotte wins back the title, and then, or not wins back, but wins the title, and then she's probably going to have it for like a year or two. It's going to be ridiculous. So I really hope that this whole storyline is really just to build up Tiffany and build her to be the next big thing, because you know what? One day Charlotte's going to retire. And if you didn't do the work now to build up somebody, who the hell's going to carry your company? It can't be Rhea Ripley forever, even though, you know, she's my queen. I love her. But, you know, she's on Raw. So you need somebody for SmackDown. And I think Tiffany very well could be that person. But I digress. So a quick note I want to mention before we get into the next segment is something that really annoyed me, is that The Rock decided to show up out of nowhere. Okay. And instead of cutting the semi-main event, which was DIY versus Pretty Deadly, which is a match we really didn't need to see, to be honest, we could have saw it next week, they decided to cut a women's match. Yeah. We were supposed to have Liv Morgan versus Naomi, which is a match that I was very excited for. You guys know I'm a big fan of Liv. I'm a big fan of Naomi. And these two in the ring, they've got similar wrestling styles, and it was just going to cook. I knew it was going to cook. Okay? And we could have had so much more storyline development too between the two tag teams. It would have been so good. But no, of course, they needed to cut a women's match and not a men's match. I don't get it. And this continues to prove the point of the movement currently going on right now on social media. There's a hashtag going around that's viral right now. It's trending worldwide. It is hashtag WWE Women Deserve Better. It's especially going viral on the X app, aka Twitter. And it just bothers me that their matches always get cut. They never main event when they should. And this is why I love NXT 1,000 times more, because Shawn Michaels understands the value of women's wrestling, and he understands that sometimes they need to open the show. Sometimes they need a main event. Sometimes there needs to be more women's matches than the men's. And it's not me just saying like women are better, but it's just like give them opportunity. They've worked so hard for this. There's been a whole women's evolution in the last decade, and I don't understand why we're still struggling to book them on a show when you have a 3-hour show. I don't get it. Anyways, let's move it to the next segment. That was a complete waste of my time and was supposed to be the Liv and Naomi slot, which is really annoying. The Rock. If you watched SmackDown, then you know exactly what this is all about. This was cringy, uncomfortable, pointless. I mean, I could keep going down the line of words that this was. Now, something that I do have to say made me cackle is the fact that he had a new theme song. He had his old one, but there was like a remix, and it was so confusing. I didn't get it. I laughed. But I think this was the first time in my life that I didn't pop for The Rock, because I always do. I love seeing The Rock, but not today, or not last night. I didn't. So the theme song, if you haven't seen it, please go watch it. They've posted it all over social media because they're just obsessed with it, which I don't get. But whatever. The Rock comes out and does exactly what I thought he was going to do. He basically is, kissing up to the crowd since they were in New Orleans, and announced that WrestleMania 42 will return to the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana, April 11th and 12th, 2026, which is so exciting. I live in Orlando, and New Orleans is only 10 hours away. So just saying. No, I'm kidding. I'm probably not going to WrestleMania next year, but a girl can dream, a girl can hope. No, I'm kidding. So he basically, announces WrestleMania next year, blah, blah, blah. And then The Rock eventually calls out Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes comes out, and this is where it goes downhill from here. He really could have stopped right after the WrestleMania announcement. That would have been more than enough. I would have been satisfied. I would have been like, let's continue the show. But no. He thinks he's God, literally. So he thinks that he can just do whatever he wants, which he can, but it's annoying, whatever. So Rock said that since WrestleMania 40, Cody and him have become friends. He said that Cody has been a great champion, but he is the final boss. He is the most powerful man, and he said that he wants Cody to be more than a great champion. He wants him to be his champion. I don't get what that means. No one does. Cody didn't either. Cody then responds and said that he is their champion, referring to the fans. Rock responds and said that he's talking about something much bigger than this, as in WWE, the WWE Universe. He said that if he becomes his champion, he can open up doors for him that he never thought was possible. Rock then continued to go on and say he wants a brother, and that's what Cody can be. None of this makes sense, okay? It was such a drag and waste of my time. Like, I felt like I was watching paint dry on the wall. I was so bored. He didn't get to the point for like 30 minutes, what felt like. And I literally could have been watching women's wrestling. That's what bothers me. I could have been watching a women's wrestling match, but instead I had to listen to The Rock ramble because he simply can. He can do things Triple H cannot. And I want to know what Triple H's reaction was backstage. Was he satisfied with this? Because I can guarantee you he wasn't. There is no way you can tell me that benefited a storyline, because there was no storyline. Okay? There just wasn't. So The Rock said that he wants an answer by Elimination Chamber, and that's when he announces that he will be at Elimination Chamber waiting for Cody's response. And then after he grabbed Cody's face, which was so weird and had no point, Cody looked stunned and confused because he didn't know what the hell he meant. I didn't know. Nobody knows. What does he mean? And then right before he grabbed his face, he said, I want that. And Cody goes, my championship? Is this what this is all about? And he goes, no. And he points to like his chest and he goes, I want your soul. Huh? I'm sorry. We're not in a movie. I know you do movies all the time, but we're not in a movie. Well, I don't freaking understand this, man. This was so pointless and it was garbage. And literally, what do you mean? There's no logical explanation for why he said that, why he's doing. I don't freaking get it, but whatever. I don't even want to keep talking about this anymore because it's bothering me too much. Let's head into the semi-main event. So we had DIY versus Pretty Deadly. It was a pretty good match. I mean, you guys know how much I love DIY, and they wrestled great per usual. And I'm glad that Pretty Deadly is getting more opportunities to grow and get better because they definitely deserve this. And I think the two tag teams work very well together. But towards the end of the match, the Street Profits, who are currently out for vengeance, literally, came out and ended the match because they interfered and blah, blah, blah. So they start beating up everybody. And then my kings come out, the Motor City Machine Guns. And the Motor City Machine Guns and the Street Profits start going at it, okay? And that's a match I want to see soon. I mean, we know that the Street Profits are coming for blood. They are coming for the WWE Tag Team Championships, and I definitely do think they're going to get them. I hope that's a match that happens at WrestleMania because I think that would be awesome. But in the meanwhile, I would love to see Street Profits versus Motor City Machine Guns. I think it would cook so hard. But let's head into the main event. We had a tag team match, Braun Strowman and Damian Priest versus Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. Similar to last week's main event, we had four powerhouses absolutely going at it, giving us an insane match. I mean, great action from all four men, crazy moments, crazy sequences. I truly can't rave about this match enough. It was so good. But in the end, Braun Strowman and Damian Priest won, which can't say that I was mad. I mean, I love all four men, and so I think I would have been happy with either tag team winning, but you know what? It's fine. We know there's a bit of a developing storyline going on between Jacob and Solo. There's been some tension, some cousin issues, if you will. So, you know what? It's fine. It's fine. I'm sure we'll see that match at some point. But let's head into my overall thoughts. I thought the show was decent. It wasn't garbage. It wasn't great. The past few weeks, SmackDown has been so good, and Raw's been kind of bad. So the fact that we're reverting back to our old ways is, I should have seen it coming. It's fine. But my match of the night was definitely Drew McIntyre versus Jimmy Uso. I mean, it was such a fun match and packed with so much action. Like, I honestly really enjoyed this match a lot more than I thought I would. And for the first time in Champion the Passion history, we got to write this down in the history books, I do not have a segment of the night. Every episode, at the end of every episode, you guys know I always say my match of the night and my segment of the night. And this is the first time ever I do not have a segment of the night. And you want to know why? Because the show felt extremely short and there was only really one segment, and that was The Rock. And we obviously know I didn't like it. So of course I'm not going to pick it just because that was the only one. I refuse to pick if I don't like it. In the end, I would rate the show about a 6 out of 10 or a 6.5 if I'm being generous. Elimination Chamber is next week, though, on the bright side. So I'm hoping that the show is better next week. That next week's Friday Night Smackdown, the go-home show before Elimination Chamber. I hope that it's way better than what I just witnessed last night, because I don't even know what I just witnessed last night. But thank you guys so much for watching and listening to this episode of Champion the Passion. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a 5-star review. Follow me at It's Victoria Daisy across all social platforms, and follow Champion the Passion across all streaming platforms. Don't forget to champion your passions and celebrate the joy in what you love. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.